Hello everyone and welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. In this, our March 29th, 2021 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including the ratings for Zack Snyder's Justice League. We're going to be talking about the latest episode of Superman and Lois, new Supergirl about to return to our TV screens, comic books, and so much more. We're also going to turn to you to ask your questions and comments on any Superman topic you would like to discuss. And to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing okay. You might want to share the screen, by the way.
Oh, yes, I'll do that for you.
But no, I'm doing fine. Just working, actually about halfway through my second viewing of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is surprises nobody more than me that I wanted to watch it, because I actually watched it and then I rewatched all the other films. I rewatched Man of Steel, and I watched Batman v Superman for the first time in like 3 years. It feels like
glutton for punishment.
And I was just like, no, because I wanted to get the whole like thing, and it made me want to go back and watch Justice League again. So
nice.
But we're going to be talking about Justice League. We're going to be talking about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to hear from the people that are watching us live, because WGBS Live is all about Superman, and therefore we want to hear from the people that are watching us on YouTube right now, as opposed to the people that are watching us later, which is, hello, future people, please comment. Anyways, if you want to participate tonight, and if we don't have a whole lot to talk about, you can do that very simply by telling us you want to do that. So how do you do that? Well, first, you're going to need Skype. Get on Skype, look for Superman Homepage, and then send us a message that you'd like to be on the show. Now, two things. One, wait for us to call you. Don't just call in, because that can screw things up. And two, if you're using an external speaker to watch WGBS Live, please turn that off or mute it, because we're on a bit of a delay and that can screw things up.
Indeed, and for those who are tuning in live via YouTube tonight, we ask you to participate in the comments, ask questions, make your reactions to the show. Michael and I will comment on those as the show goes on. And if you want your comment or question featured live on the screen, that's called a super chat. All you have to do is click the little $ symbol there on YouTube. A slider will amount. You decide on the amount you're willing to donate, and we will feature your comment or question live on the screen as the show goes on. And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. We appreciate your support, and you can also get involved with the Superman homepage. Just click the join button below. Well, Mike, how did you find the time to watch Justice League again? That's a lot of investment of time.
I have a lunch hour, like an actual hour for my meal break. And the Wi-Fi at work is no longer garbage. Now, I have Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. I've purchased those digitally, because of course I did. So I can watch those pretty much whenever. But the Wi-Fi is pretty good now, because before it wasn't. So I can just sit there and stream it while I'm eating my lunch.
Nice.
So, and 70 days later, I'm done.
Michael in the comments is asking if it was better the second time around for you.
It actually was, because I knew the good stuff was coming later.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a disagreement I had with a friend over the first part of the movie, that it's a little slow and it's the pacing's a little off. And he really liked it, and I was just like, no, it kind of bored me a little bit. But once you get to the point where the team's together, like that battle with Steppenwolf under Gotham Harbor is actually really good in this version.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they decide, oh, we're gonna go get Superman, it's like the movie just takes off for me. Like that's where I get really excited.
Yeah,
so it really, in all honesty, it was better the second time, because I knew that there wasn't that trepidation of, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into?
Am I going to regret investing so much time in this?
Exactly.
And the black and white version is available, or Justice's Grey version is available on HBO Max. If for some reason that's something you want to check out to see the film in all its black and white, non-colored version glory.
See, and saying that Justice is gray puts a lie to the fact to that, like, fan theory that Zack Snyder is this total, like, Ayn Randian objectivist, because an objectivist would never say something is gray. They would say it's either black or white. So, no, somebody actually asked me, it's like, Douglas Meacham actually asked me, am I going to watch the gray version? It's like, I could barely see some of this film in color. I can't imagine what it looks like in black and white in some of those scenes.
Well, it's pretty good. It would be all right if you're colorblind and you're not able to see some colors anyway. It might be a preference for you, but I don't think I'd be interested in necessarily watching a black and white version. It doesn't do anything for me, but the ratings for Zack Snyder's Justice League, look, there's a lot of mixed reports out there, and I guess it depends on what your agenda is in so many ways, because you can compare apples and oranges, or you can compare oranges and oranges. It's really difficult to kind of relate this movie to anything else that's come out. Even Wonder Woman 1984, which did, as opposed to other films, come out theatrically, it was released to HBO Max and some theaters, but it was basically a very similar thing. It was released digitally, day and date. So, but then you're looking at a Christmas holiday movie where it came out at a time where people had the time to set it aside, and it was only a 2-hour, whatever it is, film. Zack Snyder's Justice League came out in March. It wasn't during really a lockdown period like we saw in 2020, and it's a 4-hour movie that takes an investment of time. So it's hard to kind of compare the two because of all those differences. But nevertheless, it has been doing really well. There was some reports of them crashing the server or something like that. I haven't really seen any proof of that, but Snyder himself said they supposedly did that. But the initial 3-day ratings for Zack Snyder's Justice League were really good. It was the most watched movie on the weekend of its release, tracking 35% higher than Wonder Woman 1984 did in its 3-day release and 3 days after its release. So I guess in all, it's doing well.
Yeah, I saw the different articles and things that are floating around social media, and it's funny because I have issues with a certain segment of the Snyder fandom and their treatment, and just because the fandom in general does something good does not excuse bad behavior. You can't tell a female journalist who's reviewing the film that you hope that her baby is stillborn and then say, well, at least we did
raise
something
money
about suicide prevention. I mean, it's just that's a weird line you all are writing. But the thing is that you can't compare it to Wonder Woman 84. Like you were saying, It is a 2-hour movie released during a holiday season where you have more people like kind of sitting around. I mean, the fact that it did as well as it did, to me, for a 4-hour film is just, that's amazing. And I don't know if it crashed the servers. I couldn't download it. And one of the things I read is that it was the most downloaded movie on HBO Max, because you can download it to your iPhone or whatever. Every time I tried to do that, the app crashed. And I had to restart it. So something was going on there, because I've never had any problems downloading something from HBO Max. So I think we should just let the film celebrate the fact that it's done well.
Yeah.
In spite of a lot of obstacles it had to overcome.
Exactly. And people saying, you can't really track or rate streams. You can, with IP addresses and that. I mean, I know for the fact using a advanced screener version of that, my IP address would come up on the screen. So it made you aware that yes, they are able to track who is watching this. There are ways and methods. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Of being able to find, track ratings and track downloads and streams and things like that. So it's look, I'm glad that it's doing well. Congratulations to the people who fought for it to be made, And congratulations to Zack Snyder. It's a fantastic film. It's better than the theatrical cut. I'll agree on in pretty much nearly every aspect, other than we probably got more Superman in the theatrical cut than we did in Snyder's cut, but that's neither here nor there.
But I would argue that we got better quality Superman in the Snyder cut.
Yes.
In all honesty, and I'm not just talking about the mustache. I'm just talking as far as a character arc.
Yes.
And continuing from the previous films, it was so much better for me.
Exactly.
The weird observation I had this weekend, though, while I was watching it, or started to watch it, is this feels like a Jeff Johns comic.
Mm-hmm.
The way it plays out, the way they have like the flashbacks and the jokes, and like this is the most non-Zack Snyder DC film, and it's the one that he spent the most time on. And that's fascinating to me because, you watch Man of Steel, you have a lot of David Goyer in there, you have a lot of Chris Nolan's influence, I'm assuming. Batman v Superman, straight on Chris Terrio and Zack Snyder. This one, also Zack Snyder and Chris Terrio, but it feels like a completely different group of people made this film. So interesting.
I actually went yesterday and watched Godzilla vs. Kong at the theater with my brother, and it was interesting to see so many names come across from Zack Snyder's Justice League to this film. I know it's a Warner Brothers thing. Hulkenborg is the composer for both films. There were so many names that I recognize from so many of the Zack Snyder's films and Warner Brothers films that are in Godzilla vs. Kong, which wasn't a bad movie, by the way. I mean, there's a lot of plot holes and what you would expect from this type of monster clash, but check your brain in at the door a little bit and just enjoy the fight.
You're not going to that for the plot.
No. You're going there for the action and the special effects.
You want to see the giant ape fight the giant radioactive lizard. I mean, that's all there is to it.
100%. Speaking about Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Justice is Grey version, it is exactly the same film. It's just, in Zack Snyder's mind, it existed only in black and white originally when he was, showing it to people. But there is no difference in the content of the film other than it is totally in black and white.
To all those people that say that Warner Brothers is trying to tamp down on Zack Snyder, they not only let him do this movie, they let him release they're streaming a black and white version of it. I mean, don't do that to somebody you don't like.
Hollywood spent a lot of time colorizing a lot of their old black and white films. Now we're desaturating, big budget new films. But look, there's a big push now for hashtag unleash the Snyderverse or whatever it is, that restore the Snyderverse.
Restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of people getting behind it, some big names as well. We'll leave that there. I don't think there's any need for us to discuss that. If it happens, it happens. I don't think it will, but I have mixed feelings about what Snyder had planned for future films. If it involves having Henry Cavill back for a Man of Steel 2, I'm all for that. I'd love to see Henry return, but and there's rumors floating around today that are old rumors from 2019 about the director from the movie Mission Impossible film, where he had the moustache and everything, saying that he approached Warner Brothers to do a Man of Steel 2, and people are treating this like it's new information. That was 2019. That's old news. But that's the internet.
Yeah, I was about to say, it was interesting to see that pop back up, because for a second I was just like, this sounds familiar. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, wait, this is old news. And it just shows that the way the stream works, it goes so fast that people don't see everything that comes by them. So if you weren't paying attention back in 2019 to the certain segment of the internet that was talking about this, then this seems like totally new information.
And you do, as people who run a Superman fan site, you catch yourself and go, hang on, I need to look into this because this sounds so familiar. And then you realise, no, they're reacting to something that happened quite a while ago and treating it as if it's new information, but it's not.
Hey, McGee's going to be directing the next Superman film, Steve. We could start putting that one out again.
Talking about old films, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Now, there's some real controversy here because the official Twitter account and social media account for Warner Brothers for this film keeps telling everyone that there is the remastered version available on HBO Max to stream now. Recolorized, new aspect ratio, blah, blah, blah. But it's not on HBO Max. Everyone goes, where? Can someone send me the link or someone tell me where it is? And HBO Max are going, when they're responding to people on their social media accounts, it's news to us. We haven't got it available. So this is very bizarre.
That is bizarre. Usually they're a lot better about having their ducks in a row about that. I mean, you would think this would be the moment to have the remastered Batman v Superman because his Justice League just came out, and if you want to have like the ultimate Zack Snyder vision of his cinematic movies, which I think actually, weird tangent, I think it proves that he said everything he wanted to say about Man of Steel, because if he wanted a director's cut for Man of Steel, I have a feeling he would be pushing for it. But I think he said everything he wanted to say about that movie. But no, that is really strange that they would be saying go here to see it, and it's just not there.
Yeah, and this was the promo that they've been putting up 5 years ago today was the thing. It's just a GIF, animated GIF, rehashing that and talking about the new aspect ratio, the new remastered, colorized, this and that and the other. But look on HBO Max. It's just the same one from back when they first released it. So nothing new there, but we'll keep you posted once HBO Max finally does actually release it, if they do or when they do. And the Blu-ray of that's coming out too, by the way, which we will continue to let you know all the details about. Well, let's turn our attention to the television side of things, where the 5th episode of Superman and Lois aired this past week. It was titled The Best of Smallville. It was a great episode. Neil Bailey gave it a 5 out of 5 once again, having not like the previous episode, but this episode was a definite improvement over last week's, even though I thought last week's was pretty good myself. I loved the meeting between Captain Luthor and Lois. There was so much to like about just the whole dynamics of this episode.
Yeah, I watch it twice. Because I'm doing the podcast, and I wanna have like a really firm, like, did I like it the first time because I'm just enjoying the show, or what were there deeper problems? I think this was their strongest episode yet, in terms of characterization, in terms of writing. I just really think they were just firing on all cylinders. The flashbacks were great. The thing that I like more than anything is that this is the most anti-CW superhero show that's a CW superhero show. We see Captain Luthor and we see something going on there, but there's something else going on. And it hit me on my second viewing when Superman was facing off against Derek Powell. And he goes, "You're not alone, Kal-El." And I'm like, wait, I didn't catch that the first time. Did you just say that? So I rewound it, and he said, "You're not alone, Kal-El." And then I'm thinking back to him making out with Leslie, and her putting him in, and her having the powers. And then I'm like, okay, so are they taking Kryptonians from the Phantom Zone and putting them into human bodies, and then hitting them with X-Kryptonite to give them superpowers? But as one of my co-hosts says, they keep overclocking the meat sacks and they can't contain it.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm just like, they're not spelling any of this out. and it's the 5th episode of the series. I mean, you would think by now they would be playing more of this, but they're really on a long game with this, which I'm enjoying.
And they're not spoon feeding it to us either. They're not, making us, hitting us on the head with the explanation. It's kind of like there's a little bit of mystery there. They're showing us bits and pieces, but they're not really hitting us over the head with, here it is, this is what it is, straight off the bat. So some questions from our people watching live via YouTube. John's asking about Jonathan's breakup with Eliza, his girlfriend. Obviously, the move to Smallville, a long-distance relationship, is not going to work, and Eliza broke things off over the phone, no less, the day she was supposed to show up.
Nice. As somebody who's been broken up with over the phone, I kind of fell for Jonathan on that one.
John's also asking, who is this Marcus Bridgewater, and why does he want to talk to Lois? I didn't hear any name Marcus Bridgewater. Maybe somebody else can clue us in on who that is. Sorry, can't help you out there on that one yet, John. Who played Martha Kent in the flashback scenes in this episode? The same Martha that we've seen all along. They've just made her with a different wig or younger or whatever to look like it's a flashback.
Yeah, and I like her too. She was on the very short-lived Alien Nation series that Fox ran back in 1990. She was George Francisco's wife. And I liked her in that, and I've just really enjoyed watching her. The thing I'm kicking myself about is that I did not notice that Derek Powell's mother was Maggie Sawyer from Smallville.
Yeah. There's some, Jonathan getting drunk. John's in the comments pointing that one out. Obviously drowning his sorrows about his breakup and acted like a goose, which didn't go down well with Sarah, who's obviously been dealing with her father's drinking problem. So that hit a chord with her, and that spoilt their date with her and Jordan. But Jordan, I thought, acted really maturely and was, rather than just come down so hard on Jonathan, he was really caring about his brother and realised that there was an issue there and took care of him rather than berate him.
Yeah, and I think Lois and Clark, I think Lois wanted to punish him a little more harshly. But I think they handled it exactly as you need to handle that situation, especially since it's like, from what I can tell, this is the first time anything like this has ever happened.
Great parenting.
And the fact that Clark's like, he's been drinking, and she's like, what? and he did let him off easy, but I think they considered everything that's been going on. He is upset about Eliza breaking up, but Eliza breaking up with him is just one aspect of the overall problems that he's having. So
he's given up a lot.
It was one get out of jail free card, as Clark said, but I was just like, that's smart. That's mature parenting there.
Yeah, exactly. I loved, and John mentions it in the comments, Lana's little speech before revealing the plaque on the bench that Martha sat on was her favourite bench, and then it was such a nice flashback there to Clark and her sitting on that bench before Clark decided to... He's a bit young to be... I know he's a couple of years older than what Jonathan and Jordan are, supposedly, but 16, 17 or whatever he's supposed to be there is a bit young to go, travel the world.
Yeah, I was kind of amused with the flashbacks, one of saying that he's going to go back to flannel, which is just kind of funny, because theoretically he's probably about as old as... No, he'd be a little older than Tom Welling's Superman, probably about 10 years or so. But if it was the 90s, then there was a lot of flannel going on. I also liked that when he caught the guys stealing the stuff,
very bright.
His big move was to make them put it back, not beat them up, not toss them around, just make them put it back.
I like the fact that the Smallville word above the town hall or whatever, where they were having that, the one that burnt down, the building that burnt down, was very much like the logo to the TV show. Yeah.
No, there's a lot of loving nods to that show, and you kind of have to, because if a show lasts 10 years, it has a fan base.
Yes, exactly. John's saying, when did Smallville ever have a train station? Well, in Superman the movie, he ran by that train that was, and dodged over the front of it. So I guess there's for a rural area, it's not unlikely that there would be a train station somewhere nearby.
And that would be a big thing for the town, because if the trains stop, it's not just, a lot of towns have a train that runs through it, but if it has to stop, that means you can have commerce. That means you can have factories that can produce stuff that can be taken off by the train. So that's actually kind of a big deal.
Exactly, especially for farming. Did Lois have a relationship before Clark with someone else? I imagine Lois probably did.
Yeah, I don't see. Yeah.
I mean, if Clark can have a girlfriend in Lana, then it wouldn't be surprising for Lois to have a relationship with someone before ending up with Clark. I guess most of us, unless you marry your childhood sweetheart, have multiple relationships with people before you get land on the love of your life.
Yeah, I mean, it strikes me that they're playing a little bit with the Superman the movie idea that he went to the Arctic and spent some time there, learning about who he was before he came back to the world. But I'm also assuming that he did some kind of schooling, because 20 years ago you weren't just rocking up to the Daily Planet and getting a job.
John's JC in the comments also mentioning that there was a train station not far from Smallville when he was fighting Zod in Man of Steel.
And they trashed that train station.
Yeah,
that
pretty
area
good.
Too.
Pretty good. So there are definitely train stations in and around Smallville in various versions. So we look ahead now to Superman and Lois taking a break. The next episode, season 1, episode 6, titled Smells Like Teen Spirit, will not air until Tuesday, May 18th. That's quite a while away, but here is the promo for that episode. If I can tee it up, it is the Smells Like Teen Spirit episode of Superman and Lois. Here we go.
I want the truth. What did you do to me? Do you understand how dangerous this can be?
He's not ready for this. Things are different now.
Your powers come with responsibility. I need you to get that.
I thought these powers would bring me closer to people. All they do is bring me farther away.
Something sinister is going on here.
To figure out what's wrong, you need to tell Dad.
I need to incapacitate a threat. Take him out! Wait!
Superman and Lois. New episodes return Tuesday, May 18th, only on the CW.
Yeah, so we have some footage there of upcoming stuff to come. But until then, we also got this little catch-up trailer. So you can now watch all 5 episodes on the CW app for free. And here was the catch-up trailer that the CW gave to us to look forward to, if I can find that one. That's Supergirl. Here it is. Tear It Apart was what it was called.
It's not too late to catch up. Watch Superman and Lois from the beginning.
This is gonna keep my family together. It's gonna tear it apart.
And check out extended cuts that can only be seen on the CW app. Superman and Lois, stream free now, only on the CW app.
So there you have it. So you can stream all 5 episodes of the new show, Superman and Lois, free on the CW app. So what do we have to fill the void? Well, Supergirl is returning for its 6th and final season, and they gave us a little Superman and Lois throw over to Supergirl promo with this little, I guess, kind of a Tuesday night. This is what you have to look forward to. Superman and Lois taking a break, but here comes Supergirl.
Even heroes deserve a break.
I think we're overdue.
But Superman and Lois will return May 18th.
You're gonna need an excuse for being gone.
And starting March 30th, Supergirl is back
I will destroy her.
for the final season.
Bring it on.
Supergirl. New episodes start March 30th. Free next day only on the CW app.
So there you have it. Supergirl returning tomorrow night, Tuesday, March 30th, in the 9 p.m. time slot that was dedicated for Superman and Lois. And this is the 6th and final season of the TV show. And here is the trailer for Supergirl Season 6.
Are you all right?
I'd say I'm more than all right. Aliens shouldn't be Earth's saviors. I will destroy her.
Bring it on.
We can strip Lex of his powers and make him mortal again.
And once I fix this planet, I'll do what the Anti-Monitor failed to do. Fix every other planet in the...
Sorry, did you want to do that?
You realize, win or lose, everything will be different.
If that's what it takes to save half the population and stop Lex, I'm willing to take that risk.
Supergirl hasn't seen new improved me in action yet.
Supergirl, everyone out now! I'm not gonna let you die!
Supergirl. New episodes start Tuesday, March 30th. Free next day.
So there you have it, Super Lex.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting way to go. But not surprising, that sort of thing has happened before.
So yeah, we look forward to Rebirth, the first episode of Season 6 of Supergirl, which will air tomorrow night, as I said, on the CW at the 9 p.m. time slot. Are they on the same Earth, asks Michael. Well, that's what we believe. It's the same Earth that the Flash is on, that the other heroes are on. But obviously Lex is still aware of everything that happened in the multiverse with the crisis, and is looking not only to fix this Earth, but any of the others that are still left over, and we believe there are still some out there.
Yeah, and it's going to be nice to have the show back. I mean, it's been well over a year since the last season started, and we're almost getting to the point where it's been over a year since you've had a new episode because of everything that happened. So.
Exactly, yeah. So you still have a super show to watch in the meantime, that while Superman and Lois is taking a break. But we do also have some photos for the second episode of Supergirl, which is titled A Few Good Women, which is obviously taking a bit of a riff off the movie A Few Good Men. And there are some photos there of all the cast members involved in this particular episode, which will air the following week, April 6th. Wonder how Alex gets that makeup on so quickly in her transformation.
Oh, she's really good. She's got it on. I mean, she's got basic. I think it's just one of those things where she puts it on, peels it back, and it's there.
Maybe. So yeah, that's episode 2 of season 6, and then beyond that we have the description for the third episode, which again takes a riff off another title. This one's called Phantom Menaces, and obviously playing on the Star Wars theme. Supergirl makes a new ally. Lena and Lex battle for control of Luthor Corps. So very short. Obviously don't want to give away too many spoilers there in their description, but that is what's coming for us in the next 3 weeks.
Jar Jar Binks shows up, I'm going to be like completely blown away.
Definitely the show will jump the shark then.
True that.
And Melissa Benoist participated in an interview with EW.com that was published today, in which she reveals that she feels fantastic about the way that they're planning to end the show when it's with the finale for this year. She says, it's been such a journey, changing networks, changing cities we shot in, and changing the nights we aired. The writers of Supergirl pitched their idea for the finale, and she says they wanted to know, wanted my input to where I wanted to see Kara ending up at the end of the series. I had one request, and it wasn't even something they were thinking about doing, and they pitched me the end, and it's really lovely. It's a great ending. I feel fantastic about it. So that sounds promising, because for someone who has been invested in the character for 6 seasons, I'm sure that Melissa has a real feeling for the character and a real affinity for the character, that she would really want the series to end on a note that would be something that she would like to also see happen.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, 6 years on any show is good. And I think some people may feel like there's a time to get off the stage. And, with just having a kid and that doesn't always make you want to change your priorities, but maybe it makes her want to change her priorities. I doubt she wants to raise that kid in Vancouver.
Yeah. John, no, I don't think we're going to hear John Williams' Star Wars theme in a Supergirl episode. They're just playing funny buggers with the title. It's just a nice nod to what fans will recognise. All right, we're at the halfway point, or just over the halfway point of tonight's show. We're going to take a quick break, and then going to come back with 3 segments. The fan favourite segment, our weekly segment. We're going to do our monthly segments, the super secret soundbite and big question, and then we'll get into some comic book discussion. So we'll be back right after these messages. Do not go anywhere.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying WGBS TV Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by visiting patreon.com/Superman homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Balmer, the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Attention, Superman fans. Superman glasses are coming to Taco Bell.
That's right. Taco Bell is offering Superman glasses.
With exciting scenes from the movie. There's 6 of them. Every time you buy a medium-sized Pepsi-Cola, you can buy a Superman glass. But supplies are limited, so hurry down to your Taco Bell and start your own collection of Superman glasses.
Superman glasses, now only at Taco Bell.
And we're back on WGBS TV Live, where we're going to go into our fan favourite segment of the show. Here is our intro. All right, Michael, what was our question from last week?
What is your favorite Superman vehicle? And Ryan Ignatius Pratt wrote, I thought I had sent this last week, but apparently I forget to hit send in this. I was surprised to discover it in my drafts folder. At any rate, I thought I would submit it anyways, even though it's perhaps too late. Here's a picture of the only Superman jewelry I have. While it's not something I would wear, I think it is a fun novelty item.
Yeah, so this was our last week's question, which was in regards to the fan favourite jewelry. So that's the kryptonite little pendant there. So thank you for that, Ryan. We did have one response for this from Justin Suarez, who said his favourite vehicle was really like the Imaginext toy line. The cute, goofy figures and accessories of the DCU. They keep the young members of the young generations in the loop with DC Comics. So that's a couple of the figures there from the Imaginext line of vehicles and little toys and things. That's really cute.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, and of course it's different for everybody. It's the Superpowers Supermobile.
Oh, okay.
I'm never not going to be my favorite because I had it when I was a kid. I loved that thing so much. I have one now. I have one now. I have 2 Superman figures, but one of those, so that I can have one of the Superman figures in the vehicle and one out because I'm a nerd.
Rom in the comments saying he liked the white spaceship from the animated series. That's a cool little little shuttle thing that they used in that as well. So says Mind the Gap, the same thing. I liked how the shuttle was used in Superman the Animated Series. I've got a giant javelin, which was the JL Justice League's vehicle spaceship thing that's up on a high shelf. I didn't grab it down to pull for that. And there's also a car, Clark Kent's red car from the animated series that also came out at the
Matrix
time.
conversion coupe.
Yes, that's the one. That also came out at a similar time, and that's again up there on a high shelf. So there were two little cute vehicles. Lots of little Matchbox cars and things have come out with different movies, especially Superman Returns. They had like a Daily Planet, delivery truck and other vehicles that came out. The Matchbox ones are always good. They had a whole range of racing cars. What was that 88 number vehicle that one of the drivers had that had all the Superman stickers and designs all over. They had a whole range of those kind of vehicles come out as well.
So I know there were the Corgi cars from the late 70s, which has one of my favorite, which is a Daily Planet van that has Clark Kent ripping open his shirt on the headline of the Daily Planet. I guess they just hate him. But
they're ahead of their time, revealing Clark Kent's secret identity.
But a couple friends shared the people that are doing those new Mego type figures. They're going to be releasing a 70s era news van with with a Clark Kent figure.
Nice.
And I'm just like, wow, you're talking about a deep cut. But yeah, it looked actually kind of cool.
So that's the fan favorite segment of our shows. Thank you to Ryan and Justin who participated. What is our new question for this week, Michael, for our fan favorite segment?
Oh, this one we're probably going to get some responses to, and I bet it's going to be an argument. What is your favorite Superman animated movie, and more importantly, why?
Yes, so there's been a lot of Superman animated movies over the years. I'm guessing that Superman Brainiac Attacks won't get a mention. So I just thought I'd give it a plug here.
Michael Ironside will write in and say that it was the best Lex Luthor ever.
So yeah, what's your favourite Superman animated movie? Not talk about the TV shows, not the cartoons, but the animated movies that have come out. And there have been many of them over the years, especially in more recent years. So yeah, we're not going to include the Fleischer cartoons in this because technically they came out in the theaters, so they would be classified as animated movies. But yeah, we're talking about the animated films that have come out in more recent times that have been released on Blu-ray, DVD, and some of them even got theatrical releases. So get involved in our fan favorite segment of our show. The email address is there at the bottom of your screen, info@supermanhomepage.com. What is your favorite animated Superman movie and why? So get involved in that feature of our show. All right, let's move on to the big question segment of our show. Here is our intro.
Let's start with the big question.
Yes, let's start with the big question, which was, what did you think of the pilot episode of Superman and Lois? Who did we have responding to this, Michael?
First up, we have Justin Suarez, who wrote, I loved it. It's been a long time coming with Superman and Lois as parents on TV. On a TV show has given a new avenue to Superman. I very much had doubts, but I will look forward to upcoming episodes. 10 out of 10.
Thank you, Justin. Alfie Falsatelli wrote in saying, I think it was a clever move to shift the story to an older Lois and Clark, struggling with work and parenting. The family dynamic was realistic and well told. The production design cohesively combined visual effects of Smallville, Superman Returns, and Man of Steel. All of the actors were well cast, and I'm really looking forward to finding out more about them. Nice work. Thank you, Alfie. We hadn't heard from Alfie before that I remember, so it's nice to get a new response from a new person.
Yep. I always like hearing from new people.
Especially when it's names that we can stuff up.
Yeah. John Rinaldi wrote, I have loved every Superman show until this one.
Wow.
Tyler's a great Superman, but Tulok's Lois always seems gloomy. Seems to be always gloomy, the most depressing Lois ever. Kids are annoying, and only 2-minute blocks are used throughout the hour that deals with Superman in action. Most of the times are complaining kids and a humorless wife. Wow. Please lighten things up. Let's get some Lois and Clark banter and, dare I say, some fun. I do love the suit and Tyler's dual performances. Tyler soars above everybody else.
Okay, I know, John. That is harsh. I know John loves some of the older Superman properties, but hopefully since that first episode, he's seen some of that banter and some of those light-hearted moments, like the paint fight and the boys playing football out the front with their dad, and so yeah, hopefully further episodes have changed John's mind. Ron Crosby wrote in saying, for the most part, I'm really enjoying it. The first 4 episodes I'd rank all between 3.5 and 4 out of 5. I would prefer a bit more Superman and less drama. The best part of the show is that they are distancing themselves from the other CW shows. No mention of any of the other characters or events. This, to me, is a very good thing. The show isn't perfect at all, but nothing bad enough to make me dislike it at all. I really hope it stays that way. Thanks, Ron. Yeah, fair enough.
John P. Van Pelt wrote, after watching the pilot episode, which I was very excited about since the Smallville pilot aired, which was about 20 years ago. So here we are in the second episode. I felt like taking the first trip with Clark Kent and Jordan to the Fortress of Solitude will help them be able to bond together like father and son should be in real life. Episode 3, I think it would have been a whole lot easier if Jordan could have told his father about the bully at school, and maybe perhaps they could have talked to the school principal about the situation if needed. And that goes the same thing with Lana's daughter, Sarah. I think Clark looks really cool as an assistant coach. Episode 4. By this time, I enjoy seeing renovation of the football stadium and how the renovation of the town will be restored. Overall, so far, I've been enjoying the new Superman and Lois TV series each week, and I can't wait until May 18th when it returns with more fun-filled, exciting episodes I can't wait to watch on Tuesday nights on the CW.
Thank you, John. Going through multiple episodes there. And our final respondent was Stephen Marshall, who wrote in saying, hey guys, I think the Superman and Lois TV series is excellent. I really like that it's more of a soft reboot to the mythos and that they're not tied to the constraints of the other Arrowverse stuff. The quality of the series is more HBO than CW so far, which is great too. The drama concept really worked and they don't skimp out on the action either. It really feels like they've taken the best elements of past Superman content all rolled into one. Can't wait to dive into more of the series as time goes on. So mostly positive responses there to the first episode and other episodes of Superman and Lois. So well done, and thank you to all those people for responding to the Big Questions segment of our show. Alright, so we look ahead to April, and our new question for the Big Questions segment of our show is what, Michael?
What is the one thing you liked most about Zack Snyder's Justice League, and the one thing you liked least about the film?
Yeah, so the best and the worst thing about the film that you liked, that came to your mind. I'm sure you can think of many of both, but just the best and the worst of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Get involved in the Big Question segment of our show. All you have to do is head to supermanhomepage.com. Under the contact menu, you will find the Big Question feedback form. Fill it out, send it in, and we will read out those when we return to this segment at the end of April. Alright, now it's time for the super secret soundbite.
Only one thing alive with less than 4 legs can hear this frequency, Superman, and that's you.
Yes, well, the super secret soundbite from last month was another snippet from a Superman song, and to remind you what it was, here it is. Superman! So there it was very short, but here is the actual song. See, you'll know it straight away. It is, of course, 3 Doors Down, Kryptonite.
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman? If I'm alive and well...
So there you have it. There was a bit of the film clip from 3 Doors Down, Kryptonite. We had a number of people guess it right. Who were they, Michael?
They were Jack Rocha, John Patrick Van Pelt, Stephen Marshall, and Justin Suarez.
Congratulations to those 4 people for guessing the song Kryptonite by 3 Doors Down. This month we're going back to getting a snippet from some movie, TV show, whatever it might be from the world of Superman. See if you can guess where in the world of Superman this new sound comes from.
Super or otherwise, you're merely a man. And I am a god.
So if you think you know where in the world of Superman that sound comes from, head to the Superman homepage website. Under the contact menu, you will find the super secret soundbite entry form. Fill it out, send your entry in, and we will read the names of each person who guessed it right when we return to this segment at the end of April. So that was the super secret soundbite. Alright, well, we'll push on now to the rest of our show, and in the comic book side of things, Action Comics 1029 came out last week. It was part 2 of the Golden Age story that started in Superman number 29, which was an interesting thing to do because usually Superman has its own stories and Action Comics has its own stories. But here, to introduce the new writer, Philip Kennedy Johnson, and his new creative crew, they did the 2-part story over both titles.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this new era yet. It's the 2 story. One, I really don't like the backups. It's not that I don't want those characters to have stories told about them. It's just I'd really rather just focus on the characters that I'm coming to the book for.
Yeah, and you don't want to have to pay more to read about characters that you're not necessarily interested in.
Yeah. I think on one hand, Philip Johnson Kennedy has a really great writing style. He obviously cares about the characters. He's putting thought into what they say and what they do. On the other hand, it was 2 issues to basically have Jonathan realize that his father is vulnerable. And that's an interesting thing to explore. But the other thing, and this has nothing to do with any of the creative people involved. The 2 Superman comics I read this past week, I had issues with, and 9 out of 10 of those problems, and that's not an accurate number, I'm just trying to say 90% of the problems that I had were me problems. Do I want to read about this? And in this case, do I really want to invest in reading a Superman title where one of them seems to be having Jonathan stepping up and becoming his own hero? It's not that I don't like the character, it's just I kind of want to read about Superman. The father Superman. So it's kind of hard. I don't want to come off that I'm like, these were terrible, because they weren't. They were perfectly. They were great comics. I just don't, for completely different reasons than the Bendis stuff. I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah, fair enough. And Mind the Gap in the comments saying he was put off when he heard that Philip Kennedy Johnson wasn't going to retcon the Bendis Superman stuff. It doesn't really play into the story that he's telling here. Yeah. The secret identity reveal isn't really a factor in the story that he's trying to tell. As you said last week, these are more kind of off-world, space dramas rather than anything based in the Daily Planet that kind of deals with Clark Kent as a entity or a secret identity or what have you. Not to say that they won't go there eventually, if at all, but initially that's not a factor. So it's not really ruining if you do want to get into it, and you were put off by the fact that he said that. You can still read this and not really have that worry in your mind at the moment.
And I think that's my other issue too, is that I don't mind off-world Superman stories.
Mm-hmm.
I just like Superman in his world.
Yeah.
Because I like that world.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And so looking ahead at what's available this week for Superman fans reading comic books, we have really only one title, and that is the 3rd issue and final issue of Future State Superman vs. Imperious Lex. And our review will be up on the website tomorrow as soon as this is available, with Adam not sure if whether or not this actually needed to exist, but it is available in this pretty cool variant cover right there. On the digital publishing front, the 10th chapter of Challenge of the Super Sons is now available to download as we speak. So you can get that right now if you so desire. And it is a good read, the Challenge of the Super Sons. I think there are a few more issues, a few more chapters to go, but this is issue number 10.
Yeah, and I'll recommend Superman versus Imperious Lex. I didn't know if I was going to like those 2 issues, but I thought they were so much fun.
Yeah.
They were funny in all the best ways.
Now, this was a surprise. It leaked this week that DC are going to be publishing a Superman and the Authority comic book series. Now, it leaked in that the collected edition, the 136-page hardcover, was already listed and announced by Penguin Random House and Amazon before we'd even knew that there would be single issues of this storyline coming. What did you make of this?
I guess this is the kind of the problem we might have now that Diamond isn't the principal or even any of the distributor for the DC books. So they're going to be pimping to the collected editions probably harder now because it's through a different channel. So I have a feeling we're going to have flubs like this.
Yeah, this is written by Grant Morrison and illustrated by Mikel Janin, fan favorite Superman and Authority. So fan favorite Superman and the Authority are brought together in a story we know very much about at this time. The Authority is the group of people that the Elite were taking off of in that particular story. But this is going to be a 136-page hardcover that will collect the, I think, 2 issues that we might be seeing of Superman and the Authority when it's finally solicited.
This is my problem with Wildstorm and DC being mixed, is because the Authority was very much a thing of its own that DC then that Joe Kelly did a version of for the Elite, but now they're part of the universe. So what does that mean about the Elite? And it reminds me of being at DragonCon and having Joe Kelly basically admit that back when Superman Action Comics 775 came out and they said, no, this isn't our take on the Authority. He's like, yeah, we were lying. We were totally
doing that.
We were totally poking fun at the Authority.
All right, well, before we wrap up, just a quick announcement that yes, San Diego Comic-Con will be taking place this year, but it'll be pushed back to November across 3 days. They're hoping things will obviously be improving by then, but keep an eye on that. For people in the Southern Hemisphere, we do go out of daylight savings this coming weekend, so that means this show will be pushed even an hour earlier now. So if you're in Sydney like me, it'll be 12:30 p.m. rather than 1:30 p.m. as it was today. That pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's episode of WGBS TV Live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to this episode and thank our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt and Tina Murray. And remember, if you want to support the Superman homepage, you can either click the join button below on YouTube or you can head to patreon.com/Superman homepage. But Michael and I will be back next week on Monday, April 6th, I think it is, for another episode of WGBS. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. Thank you, Michael.
Well, pleasure as always, Steve.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you next week. I'm Steve Eunice from supermanhomepage.com. Bye. Let me find the right button to press. And here we go. See ya.